season is back, which means we are back. Welcome in, Steeples. It's been too long, but here we are yet again with Omens of the Third Age pre-release right at our doorstep. Let's get into how we can win this pre-release, as we always do. Now, as always, I do offer some limited rankings. I have sealed rankings. I'll be making draft rankings soon, and I can offer coaching. So if you have a nationals coming up that you want a little bit more help, or if you just want more limited advice in general, be sure to check out my Patreon. Now let's get into what we are going to expect to see in Omens of Third Age. Now we have 3 new heroes with familiar faces for 2 of them, but with whole different effects, new abilities with this set, and we're going to get into each and every one of them. But the first thing I want to go over is what we do when we get our pre-release kits. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open it up. We're going to enjoy the shinies. We got some shinies in there. We got some equipment. We got some like marvels. We got a macro, which is pretty big. We'll talk about that as well. And then we got 8 packs. All right. So once we get our pre-release kits, we're going to open up the cool cards, and then we're going to start opening up our packs. Now, when we open our packs, what we're going to do is we're going to separate our cards into multiple piles, and this is going to make it easier for us to determine what hero we're going to be picking. Now, our bomb pile is any Majestics we get. Basically, we want to put our Majestics to the side so that we can determine, oh yeah, this is a really good Majestic. Let me look at what class it's associated with. Then we're going to decide what deck we want to choose. Now, let's get into what cards we want to see, what abilities we want to look for when we are determining what heroes. And we're going to first start with Ziggy. Ziggy is our lightning illusionist hero that looks to use lightning flows to turn into hollow counters on our auras. Let's break down what that means. Basically, if you have an aura out, then you can use Ziggy's ability by paying 2 resources, using up a lightning flow token, and then being able to basically bounce your aura. The hollow counters itself doesn't mean anything, but it does allow for you to have additional effects. The other thing this allows for is your weapon. Your weapon can now come in for 2 arcane. We have an arcane dealing weapon with Illusionist with Ziggy. So using Ziggy's ability allows you to manipulate your auras to get additional effects off, while also allowing you to use your weapon to deal arcane. That is what Ziggy's about. However, we're still not done. We also have Fragment. Fragment is a new ability that comes with a lot of our Lightning Illusionist attacks. And that reads that if this card will be blocked by a card that has a block value of 2 or higher, this attack gets -2. Now, you might be thinking, well, that doesn't sound very good. Why would I want to run anything with Fragment? The reason is a lot of these Fragment attacks have abilities that trigger every time they are blocked. And this is for each card blocking them, which means if 2 cards block your Pulsing Cardea, then you're getting 2 resources. Pretty cool. It starts to make sense once you start piecing it together, because maybe then you can use those 2 resources to use Ziggy's effect on an RX shard, which pumps up your Fragment attack. So now you are getting over, and you can see where things get a little wacky when you're playing with Ziggy. You're going to have some sorts of, doing stuff in reaction phases, as well as doing stuff on your opponent's turn. Ziggy is very versatile in the way that he plays. He can be a bit more defensive, he can be a bit more offensive. But what are the cards we're looking for when we are looking to build our pre-release Ziggy deck? Well, we do want a good amount of those Fragment attacks, particularly the ones that can get us going in. We also want a good amount of auras, because these auras are what we're going to be looking to do Ziggy's ability with. Now, any aura like circular flow tide that can make us some lightning flows so that we can consistently be able to use Ziggy's ability is what we are looking for, as well as, you know, making embodiment lightnings so that we can get multiple fragment attacks coming through as well. With Ziggy, because you're looking to send some decently big size attacks as well as do his ability, you're going to want a little bit more blues. So I like to have around 13 to 14 blues when I am building my Ziggy deck, which is almost about half your deck. So keep that in mind as well. Blue block threes are very good in this set. Look for some of those. But this is basically what you're looking to build with Ziggy, is having a good amount of fragment attacks with good fragment abilities, as well as having a good amount of auras that you want to use Ziggy's effects on to either get additional enter the battlefield effects or additional effects from having a holo counter. Next up is our lightning rune blade, and that is Aurora. She's a little bit different this time, but she's still looking to give her attacks go again by making embodiment of lightnings. Except this time we're using lightning flow. So her ability reads, you pay 2 resources, use up a lightning flow to turn it into an embodiment of lightning. Now, you can do this at instant speed, so you can do this on their turn, your turn, whatever works best. But what Aurora is really looking to do is to have some go wide chain links. You're looking to attack at least with 2 attacks every turn, and if you can get 3 attacks in, even better. We're looking to make a good amount of lightning flows with like electron jolt steps, which is a pump, makes a lightning flow, everything we like, which then we can turn into an embodiment of lightning, all with 1 blue, right? Cost 1 to play the electron jolt steps, cost 2 for Aurora's ability. Boom, we get a pumped up attack that gets go again. Now, we also have a new ability called Quick Strike, which are attacks that have an additional effect if they have go again. There's a lot of good quick strike cards out there. Now, the other thing that we get is we get a weapon that has no cost at all. Aurora's weapon is a free attack if you attack with a lightning card this turn. So as long as you're able to come in with an attack that is lightning, then you can get a free weapon attack after the fact. Now, it's only coming in for 1. However, if it does hit, you deal an additional 1 arcane. So this is basically a weapon that swings for 2 for free, which is pretty gnarly. It's pretty cool. So that is kind of what you're going to be doing with Aurora. You're looking to make lightning flow so you can turn them into embodiments of lightning so that you can then attack with a lightning attack to end it with your weapon, or just come in with another attack. Totally valid as well. Either way, you're looking to get 2 to 3 chain links every turn with attacks. Now, in order to set up a good Aurora deck so you can always do this, you want to look for about 10 blues. I think 10 to 12 blues is what you want, and you're going to want to look for either lightning flow generation, or she has a lot of cards that just give go again to the next attacks. There's Mercurial Skies, there's Quick Successions. You can even draft Sigil of Lightning, which gives the embodiment of lightning itself. So there's multiple ways, even without Aurora's effect, that you can give go again to your attacks. And that's just the bread and butter of what Aurora is. Go again. So that is what you're looking for, as many go again generations as you can possibly get, either through lightning flow or from the cards themselves. And then look for a good amount of quick strikes, because you want your quick strikes to really put pressure on your opponents and make it hard for them to block all the damage, so you can get some additional effects. And then you end with your sword and you call it a turn. On to the next one. Now let's talk about our last hero, Oscilio. Another familiar face, but with different effects. The first difference we can definitely see though is that he has 19 health. This is 1 more health than what we are used to with the previous Oscilio. And his ability is a little different as well. Also using a lightning flow token like the other heroes. He is instead just paying 1 resource tapping him, using a lightning flow token to discard a card. If it is an instant, we can play that card and we create a ponder. Pretty cool. We can basically get a ponder for one resource and get to play our instance that we could already play anyway. So it kind of is like, you know, paying a lightning flow to convert it to a ponder, which is kind of cool. However, I will say this, Oscilio doesn't really need to do that to really function as a deck. Aurora definitely needs to do that. Ziggy likes to do that. Oscilio, it's just an added bonus, because the way that your play patterns happen with Oscilio is that you're just looking to block some damage and then send big arcane damage. You can put a few attacks in there with Go Again, but generally speaking, you want to send at least 3 arcane damage a turn, and you can typically send a lot more. So that's kind of what you're looking to do when you're playing Oscilio. Block with some cards, pitch a card on your turn, send arcane. Now he also has a new ability like the other heroes. Starfall has it where if an instant would hit your graveyard this turn, then you can get an additional effect. Now this works pretty well with Oscilio because he does have you discard a card, which means if it's an instant, it does go in the grave, which would trigger Starfall. So that is something that we can use. We can use this ability to have this added effect. We can also use instances that break on the start of our turn. There's quite a bit of those. Core Reaction is a very, very good one, where it will break at the beginning of our turn, dealing some sort of arcane damage, and then it doesn't take up an action point, which then means that we can play something like Meteoric Impact after the fact, which has the Starfall ability because the instant aura broke at the beginning of our turn. There's quite a bit of different instant auras out there, and we do like them quite a bit because anytime we can trigger Starfall, there's usually some really cool effect. And the biggest effect we have from an instant going in our grave is that we get to use our new weapon. Yes, it's a Volzair. Yes, it's not as good as the last one, but is it still good and limited? Absolutely. Anytime an instant goes in the grave, we can then activate our weapon to give an amp effect onto some sort of arcane damage. Rather, it is coming in with small little pings from Starfall effects with our instances, stuff like Constella's Uplift, Cosmic Suture. These all have little pings that come in with a Starfall effect. Or it comes in with a big spell, something like Aether Sling, where we can come in with additional amp on just like a spell action. So these are what we're looking to do with Oscilio, just deal big arcane damage. And the reason why we want to focus so much on big arcane damage is that there's not a ton of ways to block it. There is a good amount. There is cards that everyone have access to, like Thunderous Retort, Brush Off, and with the macro that's in play, all of our lightning flows have Spell Void. So there is ways to get around arcane damage, but they can't do it every single turn. Your opponent can't stop arcane damage every single turn. So as long as we're able to give good blocks on our opponent's turn and send arcane on our turn, we generally can grind our opponents down to where we can present lethal. And that's what we're looking to do with Oscilio. He might be one of the easiest ones to play. So if you're, been very wary of wizards because they are a little bit more complex, I do think this is probably one of the easier wizards. So if you want to try it out, I think you'd have a good time if you never played wizards before. Past that, I would say Aurora is fairly easy, and Ziggy is a little bit complex. So if you want a bit of a challenge, I'd go Ziggy. Go and have some fun, guys. Like, honestly, when you're looking at your different piles and you're looking at your bombs, see which one has the most fun. With 8 packs, you're certainly going to be able to have enough cards to build any of these decks. And now you kind of know what each one of them do and how each one of them can interact. Again, if you want more of a ranking system, if that helps you a little bit more, I will have that on Patreon. All you have to do is spend the $5. You can get that, and you can have a monthly thing where I give you the draft rankings as well next month. So if you are looking for something that has a little bit more like in your face as a list, check that out. But otherwise, go and have some fun. We're back. Limited is back. Let's go have some good Omens at Third Age fun, and good luck to you guys. Thanks for watching. Keep on passing.